For 30 years, one name meant something simple in professional golf. Trust, charisma. The guy who signed every autograph, smiled for every camera, and stood as the warm, human counterweight to Tiger Woods' icy dominance. Phil Mickelson wasn't just a champion, he was the people's champion. 6 major titles, a historic win at 50 years old, the oldest man ever to capture a major championship, a devoted husband to Amy, a father of 3, a legend built not just on swings, but on smiles. But legends built in public can unravel in public too. And in 2026, that's exactly what began to happen. It starts, innocently enough, with an absence. February 2026. Phil Mickelson announces his stepping away from the game, not for injury, not for retirement, but for something vague. A family health matter. Private. Unspecified. He'll miss the first 2 LIV golf events of the season. Fans send well wishes. Nobody suspects anything darker. Spring turns to summer, and the excuses keep coming. Tournament after tournament, the same quiet explanation. Something is wrong at home. That's the story the world is told. But somewhere behind that story, another one is already unfolding, and it has nothing to do with a health matter at all. According to multiple sources cited by Golf Digest, in that same spring, a female employee at the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, California, came forward with an accusation. She said Mickelson made unwanted, inappropriate physical contact with her inside the clubhouse just before a round of golf. She rejected him. And then she did something that would set off a chain reaction. She reported it, immediately, to her supervisors. The club didn't sit on it. They investigated. And according to the reporting, they confronted Mickelson right there on the course. He was told to leave. He never finished his round. For weeks, this stayed buried. Then, on June 11th and 12th, Golf Digest broke the story publicly. They said they'd identified the employee, verified her identity, but were protecting her privacy at her request. The sheriff's office in San Diego County confirmed an investigation had taken place, but said they found no evidence an assault occurred, while leaving the door open to further inquiry if new evidence surfaced. Mickelson's camp responded fast, and briefly. Any misunderstanding, they said, had been cleared up. His attorney later confirmed something quieter, but telling. Mickelson had resigned his membership from the club. Case closed. Or so it seemed. Because 2 weeks later, everything changed. On June 26, veteran golf journalist Alan Shipnuck dropped a bombshell investigation on his publication, Skratch. This wasn't about one club or one incident. Shipnuck had spent time with 19 sources, and what he uncovered pointed to a pattern, not an isolated lapse, but repeated behavior that had allegedly gotten Mickelson quietly pushed out of not 1, not 2, but 3 exclusive California golf clubs. The Farms, the Madison Club in La Quinta, the Bridges in Rancho Santa Fe. And buried inside that investigation was something even more explosive, a new, on-the-record allegation, dating all the way back to 2015. Her name was Ashley Perez, and her connection to Mickelson wasn't distant. She was the wife of Pat Perez, Mickelson's own colleague on tour. According to her account, it happened during the week of the 2015 Barclays Championship. Mickelson had invited the Perez couple to stay at a villa he'd rented near Liberty National. One night, the 3 of them were sharing wine when Pat stepped away, just for a few minutes, to use the restroom. And in that brief window, Ashley says Mickelson showed her an explicit photo on his phone, then told her, in essence, that his door would be open later that night and that he wanted her to come find him once her husband was asleep. She said no. She stayed silent, not telling her husband until after the tournament wrapped because she didn't want to blow up his career mid-competition. Years later, in 2022, Pat Perez alluded to the incident publicly on a podcast without naming Mickelson outright. He described it as a betrayal that crossed a line he could never forgive. In 2023, Ashley Perez filed for divorce. And when she finally decided to speak on the record for Shipnuck's story, she said something that cut straight to the heart of why survivors often stay quiet. That a culture of silence keeps women from coming forward, and she wanted to help break it. But Ashley Perez's account was only one thread in a much larger tapestry. At the Madison Club, where Mickelson owned a condo, A senior staff member told Shipnuck that his 2021 departure wasn't really his decision. It came at the demand of his own wife, Amy, relayed through the family's financial team, insisting the property be sold and the membership terminated. Multiple sources described a pattern of women, who were not Amy, staying overnight there. At the Bridges, the picture got even stranger. Sources described Amy attempting to track her husband's location through his phone, and Mickelson allegedly countering her by paying a young pro shop employee $500 to drive that phone around the course for hours, faking the appearance that he was playing golf, while he was somewhere else entirely. 3 clubs. Years of quiet exits. One consistent thread running underneath. Mickelson's legal team didn't stay silent for long. His attorney, Tom Clare, dismissed the Skratch investigation as an anonymous, unfair hit piece. His team drew a hard line, insisting he was never expelled from any club, never had a membership revoked, that every departure had been his choice alone. On the Ashley Perez allegation specifically, they didn't deny an incident occurred. They called it a misunderstanding, one he'd already apologized for, while cautioning that an apology should not be mistaken for an admission of guilt on every claim being made. Skratch didn't back down either. Editor Ben Boscovich said the outlet stood firmly behind its reporting and that Mickelson, his wife, and his attorney had all been given a chance to respond before publication. Shipnuck said the piece went through rigorous legal and editorial vetting before it ever went live. And then came the statement that the entire internet couldn't stop dissecting, one issued on behalf of Amy Mickelson herself. It spoke of 35 years of marriage, of grace and unwavering love, of a husband working to become the man his family deserves. It included one haunting line, that recovery is not a straight line. What it didn't say was just as loud as what it did. No mention of separation. No mention of divorce. No personal statement from Amy herself confirming or denying anything. Just careful, curated silence, enough to fuel endless speculation online, none of it confirmed. Meanwhile, the golf course tells its own story. For the first time in his entire career, Mickelson will miss all 4 major championships in a single year. No Masters, no PGA Championship, no US Open. And his name quietly vanished from the Open Championship field at Royal Birkdale, the first time he's skipped that tournament since 2009, when he stepped away for a very different reason. To be at Amy's side during her cancer treatment. His only appearance all season came in March, in South Africa, where he finished tied for 48th out of 57 players. His team insists the golf course absence and the mounting allegations are 2 separate stories, one about health, one about scrutiny. But as of the latest reporting in early July, one thing is certain. His lawyers are still fighting the narrative, Skratch is still standing behind every word of it, and the full truth behind the fall of one of golf's most beloved figures is still very much being written.